Well, good morning again, and welcome to the 2024 Summer American Woodmark product launch. We're excited to have you join us. I know there's been a few of you that have actually popped into the webinar here since I made the last announcement. But if you are joining us this morning and you'd like to put your name and store number in the Q&A, we'd like to see where everyone is joining us from this morning. Again, good morning. My name is Remy. I'm the Vice President of Field Sales for the Home Depot team. I have the pleasure of working with your sales reps each and every day, those that are out there calling on the stores and helping you with sell more kitchens. And so also joining us and leading our trend analysis and all of our fantastic product offering this morning is our market manager, Jerry Lockridge. She's going to be going through the product with you, all the new and exciting things. And even if your reps have shown you all the great new fantastic items, I'm sure she'll have a few tips and a beautiful imagery to show you this morning. So Jerry, with that being said, you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So excited to be here and kind of walk you through our latest launch. As we know that we launched new products into the store on July 8th, and really just kind of want to walk you through the ins and outs of those and some of the new exciting things that we have. Before we start, I do want to review some trends with you, and we actually look from a company standpoint at trends in our category, outside of our category. We draw from things like KBIS, we do the furniture markets, trying to triangulate like all of these trends and what that's going to mean for living spaces as we move forward. So really just to open it, I found this quote and I think it's so relatable right now in terms of trends, because over the past year, I love this observation of how individual style has become more widely accepted. I think we're seeing these huge changes in these buckets that we are traditionally accustomed to seeing, things like traditional, transitional, modern, and farmhouse. They're kind of all morphing, and they're changing into something that's so individualistic, and it's really exciting to kind of see that trend come through. I also think it's important to think about color. Like, we think about color a lot in terms of our finishes and how we want those to blend and kind of work together with those multi-tonal spaces and everything that's in the marketplace trending right now. But color is never seen in isolation. And I think that that's so important. So when you look out the window, it's about the way products and finishes, those colors interact with each other. And while we're making these spaces and these multi-tone spaces, how those colors actually become the character of the space, I think is super important. And that's something that we always put our finish lenses through. How can we mix and match them? How do they work within our own finish palette? So I thought that was a great way to kind of kick it off. Now turning more to our part in the NKBA, key style and finish trends that we're seeing. We're obviously still seeing that organic, natural design theme continuing to come through. We're layering those warmer neutrals with those earthy greens, and we're actually seeing a really big rise in terms of stains and wood grains in spaces. Those natural wood textures, wood patterns on cabinets, and from a styling standpoint, we are seeing everything, clean up a little bit, like cleaner lines, like contemporary, modern, mid-century. But that's actually going through all of the style buckets, even right down to traditional, is even cleaning up, cleaner lines, simpler crowns, those beautiful stains. And the one thing that I thought was interesting is, while the designer that we saw was from a different kind of category, the NKBA is seeing the same exact thing. And you can see one of the quotes we pulled from the 3-year projection is more personality, which I think is so fun to play with from a design perspective. I no longer think the first point of view will be what will the next owners like. It'll be more personalized to that homeowner. And I think that that gives us a lot of opportunity to really make some unique spaces and do some fun things for their customer. So with that, taking a look at first at our 2024 finishes, first one up is Maple Almond. And I think right away, this beautiful tone kind of really gives this space a relaxing kind of moment. It has that natural aspect. It's beautifully neutral, kind of from an undertone standpoint, this brown gray, and it really kind of anchors that space. You can see this is a tritone space mixed with our painted sage and painted harbor finishes as well, with all of these beautiful fixtures, really creating kind of a modern space that still has that charm and kind of pulls you in with that coziness. Maple almond, obviously we think of this as a really natural, delicate shade of the browns, creating that harmonious blend of earthy tones. You saw it in the kitchen. This is a beautiful wet bar area. This finish can really work throughout the home because it gives you that cozy kind of tranquil setting, and it can add to the richness in any space. This finish is available on all of our current maple collection offerings that you see there. And you can create a wide range of looks with this. We'll look at a little more of them later on, but we do believe one of the things that we really focused on with this finish is kind of formulating that stain to actually accentuate the wood ticking within maple, and it really makes it this beautiful furniture-like finish because it really accentuates that beautiful maple and adds that ticking to really give it kind of a depth and richness. Next finish is our cherry clove. I know we launched cherry amber, the last launch, and that was like the lighter tone version of cherry. We really knew looking at our cherries that that browner kind of richer finish what was missing within that category, and we wanted to kind of expand our offering in cherry. You can see the cherry clove finish gives you a little bit of that like beautiful rustic element. You can create a lot of looks with this. This one right here has that little nice industrial kind of, you get the heavy black metals in there mixed with that beautiful black countertop. Cherry clove in and of itself does give you that rich rustic kind of feel, but I believe that it's very timeless. It has an elegance mixed in it, and it mingles within that the depth of the cherry wood grain to really accentuate and celebrate those unique characteristics that cherry has. It does give you that spa-like feel. You see that bathroom there, looks really luxurious. It does look like you could just go in and put on that comfy robe and you'd be in your own personal home spa. And obviously the finish can make a statement on its own. You saw it in two spaces, really kind of carrying that palette. But this can also combine with many of our painted finishes and adds that beautiful touch of character to any space. This finish is available on all of our current collections that are available in cherry.
Well, Jerry, I have to tell you, that spa-like bathroom is definitely calling my name. I might have to see how I can get that at my house. It's beautiful. What a lovely shot that you've put together for us there. Hey, I did want to ask though, on the right door of that sink cabinet, I see the lighter sapwood coming through with cherry. Do we have anything to help designers explain to customers what cherry like characteristics look like and how it's a little bit wild at times?
Absolutely. We love that about cherry. We believe that that adds this charming uniqueness to that species, but we do understand that some consumers may not know that about cherry wood. So we did want to help designers kind of set that expectation with their customers in a way that educates them on cherry wood itself. This one sheeter that you see here for cherry wood expectations is available on our consumer side of our website, but also on designer resources under supporting documents. So if you log into your designer resources, click the menu item for supporting documents, and you'll find this cherry wood expectation sheet. This sets the tone for not only showing the characteristics of cherry that you see there and the variations within those doors that you could see in a space. It also allows you to help the customer walk through that aging process of cherry, which we know is prevalent in some of those lighter tone cherry woods. And it also points out that we believe that this does add to that uniqueness of the space. We don't sort or scrap any of those pieces because we do believe that it adds that beauty to each individual space and gives it its own personality. So looking at these two finishes that we're offering for 2024, I always love to think of our palette really as the tones that work together. And so I break this down a lot in terms of our neutrals and our bold pops. Obviously, those bold pops are the accent colors that you can actually bounce and actually play in a space with those sages, navies, mists, and black. The warmer naturals that you see there, we think that this almond falls perfectly within that category. It does warm warm up a space. It gives you that nice earthy tone. You see the more muted naturals that we have there. That line tends to be from rye down to slate, our maple offering. We do have some character naturals, which we think this is where cherry really plays. And you can really play up those characters and those unique striations within a space, the amber, the clove, and the slate, and then our textured materials. And really this kind of helps when you're thinking about multi-tone spaces and creating like two or tritone spaces. You can grab a neutral and a muted natural, or you can grab a neutral, a warm natural, and a bold pop. They really all are formulated to work together. One of the great ways to work in your space with your customer, we have these finished pallet decks, and some of you may have already gotten these from your sales rep. They are a great tool to show your customer pairings. You can grab a door, you can put the chips down so that you can create your own pairings. It's fun to mix and match these. Customers can order these samples, the actual chip samples, from homedepot.com, and have those sent to their home so they can start making some additional selections and things like, you know, paint colors, countertops, things like that. 2024 door styles. We have a brand new door style coming in, the Remy collection, as you all may have seen. The slim shaker, we've heard this called slim shaker, skinny shaker. We've even heard it called micro shaker, but what we know about it is that it is everywhere and really a trending door style now in the in the marketplace. You can see this beautiful space here, more modern. It really kind of sucks you in, has that dramatic look. And the beautiful tile. One thing that we always try to do from our imagery standpoint is really make sure that we're picking those attachments that come from Home Depot, things like lighting, the countertops, the tile there. You can log into designer resources for any of these beautiful spaces and actually see what those items are, and they're available in your store. So let's dive into the door a little deeper. We think that this door is going to be the next thing in terms of shaker. We know shaker's been around forever. It's a timeless kind of look. This is a modern version of that timeless shaker. It's got clean lines, still has the charm, and I think it truly blends our current Hanover slab door and our current Leesburg door together to make a very unique look that adds its classic, it's updated, it's effortless. It actually fits into any architecture to make a fresh statement in any home. This construction of the door is a 3/4 inch mitered veneer recessed panel. You do see that I did make a note there that it is a hybrid construction for our painted species. We know we do that in our doors. We have so that insert panel does then become MDF. In our painted species. It's available in cherry, maple, and paint. You can see the finishes there, and also has a slab and a 5-piece drawer front option for customers to choose from. There are some hardware restrictions. As you can see, Remy is a pretty uniquely constructed door. So wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that the hardware cannot be drilled more than 1.5 inches from that outside edge. You can see how that's outlined there on the door. The drawer front does not have those same exclusions. We are working on, you know, a little sheet to kind of give as a hardware tip sheet for this door, but that is just something to note that's unique about this particular collection.
Well, hey, speaking of unique, I love the look that was a few slides ago where you were showing that beauty shot. Everyone loves that waterfall countertop, by the way. There's been a couple of comments in the Q&A. But tell me a little bit more about the glass. Because of this door, does the glass door look different, or is it more like Leesburg or Reading? Can you give us a little bit more detail about that?
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm glad everybody loved that countertop treatment there as well. But to your point, the glass door, we thought that this collection was so unique and so special that it needed a profile all its own. We're showing this so you can kind of get that look of that slim shaker on the outside. And then it turns into a 2.25 inch to give you that hardware placement portion on the inside, and also allow you to securely adhere that glass insert into place. So this is a unique door. It does create a very cohesive look across the kitchen. And I think that, you know, Remy just called for its own unique profile in that case.
Wow, that looks great. I love the look. I can't wait to see all the kitchens with glass doors and the Remy collection.
Yeah, they're gonna be wonderful. I can't wait to see the spaces in all of these new products. So one thing to look at, we actually look at our door styles too. We talked a lot about how we bring new finishes to the market and what lens we kind of put those through from a formulation to actually make sure that they work within the rest of the finished palette. We do this something very similar with our doors. You can see here kind of we think of these as tiers for our doors, and we want to make sure that customers have a great selection to create the look they want at any price point that they might have. And you can see that now with the addition of Remy, there is a shaker door in every price point. You see Reading, you see Remy, you see Leesburg, you see San Mateo. We also have transitional, we have more traditional, and we even have modern doors within each of those categories as well. So when you're thinking about, budgets and things from that standpoint of your consumer, just know that we do have a formulated line that you can create any look at any budget within our door style and collection offering. Next up on the list, we're going to talk about SKUs. And I know that door styles and finishes are always super exciting when it comes to launching new product, but we believe that SKUs are equally as important because we look at these as actually making your improving the design flexibility that you all have within our line. First, before we take a look at the SKUs that we are launching with this round, I want to take a look a bit about what's going on from a functionality standpoint in terms of trends. We are seeing now hidden spaces. You can see this beautiful one there on the right. I do think that this is coming from that move to contemporary and clean lines. They want to preserve that look across the kitchen and don't necessarily want a pantry or a beverage station or something like that to stick out. This allows them to follow that line kind of across the space without creating those interruptions within the design. And large pantries are another thing that we've really been seeing that incorporate not just food storage, but it's things like an additional prep space. It's designated zones like bar areas, beverage stations, just additional storage in general, even small appliances. Looking for a spot to keep those off the counter and kind of a little more hidden to create that clean line and that very minimalistic kind of look. Multifunctional islands, we've watched islands grow and grow and grow year over year. These have become not only a focal point in the space, but they're really used as that gathering spot. And it's almost like it's the centralized location and command central for the home. Beverage centers, both coffee and wet bars, are continuing to become a highlighted request. And then the new one that popped up this year that I think is really interesting are these eat-in dining spaces. Consumers are opting for eat-in kitchens versus a separate formal dining room, but they want something because those islands have now grown in size. It's hard to kind of look down the island to the left and right and have those more intimate kind of conversations. These smaller eat-in spaces and eat-in nooks really kind of harbor that conversation space and that more intimate space within the kitchen where the family, friends can kind of come together and join each other. One of the great things and one of the most awe-inspiring things that designers do to me are really creating this, they're embracing the harmonious blend between classic and contemporary elements. But outside of that, the other thing, outside of the look and feel of the kitchen, it's really focusing on that functional elegance. How can I help my customer get through and move through their kitchen from a functionality standpoint in the way that they use it? And I do think creating a space that's both stylish and efficient is so important for every one of our customers that are doing their remodel. So with that, in order to improve designer flexibility, I know that probably each and every one of you on this call have looked at stacking cabinets with the American Woodmark line and wish that we had 12 and 15-inch high cabinets to kind of go along with that. And now we do. Our 12-inch and 15-inch high cabinets you see there are available in widths from 12 to 27 inches wide. And we also have the corner wall versions in 24 and 27 inches wide available for you guys now. So if you want to do that clean line across the space and turn the corner, you can do that while stacking cabinets with American Woodmark. This improves the storage for the end consumer and also creates this beautiful look like you see there in this little beverage area of that kitchen we talked about earlier. In addition to that, we also, in the spirit of keeping those clean lines, are offering a 37-inch wide refrigerator cabinet. We know that bridge cabinet has been important for a while now, because those 36-inch refrigerators still require a little bit of ventilation on each side, and you guys would have to then have the installer put a little bit of a filler, and it would just break that line enough to where you weren't keeping that clean line, had a little separate break within that cabinetry line. And those are available in 12, 15, 18, and 21 and 24 inches in height. And you can see that 37-inch wide, 24-inch deep. I think it does create that beautiful clean line that folks are looking for in their home. We are offering an additional built-in base microwave cabinet. Our current base microwave cabinet that we have in the line is great for drawer microwaves and undermount cabinet microwaves, things like that. What we found out that it didn't work very well with are microwaves that required a trim kit, and there are a lot of those out there now. You can see that example in the imagery below, microwaves that have that larger trim kit. This is a great cabinet to incorporate those. So make sure you're having those conversations with the customer about what microwaves and things like that they're choosing. Another thing that we did, we offered 2 full height blind base cabinets during our last launch. We actually went in and offered the additional sizes for those to kind of complete that blind base lineup, really making sure that you guys have any size available to create those looks, because full height is in too, right? We're talking a lot about clean lines and things like that across the space. So we want to make sure that you guys have the cabinetry and the sizes that you need. Last up, touch-up kits. And while this may seem small, we are really excited about it, because in multi-tonal spaces, we understand that, customers are receiving 2 and 3 finishes on their order. And while whatever the sink base is ordered in, that's the one that kind of comes in the cabinet itself, is whatever finish the sink base is in. This way, if your customer's ordering a 2-tone or a tri-tone space, you can add the extra touch-up kits right to their order in a quick and easy way. Another thing that we really cleaned up was the nomenclature on the putty sticks and markers. We know that some of that was a little confusing in our spec guide, and really wanted to make sure that we were keeping those touch-up kits and markers kind of clean and for ordering in the system. As Helen mentioned earlier, we look at these trends when we're creating our beautiful imagery for this round. We've got a lot of new great spaces, and we're going to dive into a few of these spaces now as we're coming up. We talked a lot about how traditional is really becoming a cleaner version of itself. And you can see this beautiful traditional space. It has that nice little beverage center and an additional storage area. This space is done in our Glen Ellen Duraform linen space. I think it's a classic look, and it really is timeless, and it gives you all of those charms of traditional in a space. On the opposite end of that spectrum, we're seeing spaces with a lot of personality, right? Big, bold prints, big, bold colors. And you can see we did just that with this westerly painted linen and maple almond space, taking that traditional door and giving it a unique look and a new vibe. It kind of really makes it look completely different. This is one of those spaces where it's kind of eclectic, kind of anything goes. You're mixing and matching things together. You also see that beautiful hidden pantry that we have there in that space that we'll talk a little bit more about later. Additionally, we talked about maple almond. We talked about how that can really play in any room. I do believe that in the bathroom, it does give you that beautiful moment of relaxation, gives you that natural element that allows you to have that pause and really kind of relax in that space. You can see this Leesburg bathroom with the 2 separate vanities. You have the tall over there on the side. It really does kind of create an overall relaxing tone within the space. Next up is Cherry Clove. This is a bar area, and what we know is, and what I like to think about in terms of working with consumers, are what little nooks do they have in their home that we could even make more functional for them. We've all been in those homes that have the guest kind of coat closet within the living space area for guests to kind of hang their jackets when they come in, and we know that those have kind of gone by the wayside, and those are never used for guest coats. They're actually used to kind of stuff everything that you can in them and shut the door and hope that the next time you open it, it doesn't kind of all roll out into the floor. Why not use that space and make it a functional, more entertaining kind of space? You see the little wet bar that we've added within that nook, and I think it's a beautiful functional use of that little space. Next up, this one just makes me happy because it's a little kid space, not something that you're typically used to seeing within the American Woodmark product lines. It's a little unexpected, but that maple almond plays so well with our painted sage finish. Bouncing it with the wallpaper that you see there in the middle really kind of creates just a beautiful moment in the home where, you know, you can go relax, play, keep everything tidy, keep everything organized, gives you additional storage for all of those toys, games, and things like that. And then these next two spaces are fun, right? We talk a lot about the being bold, being maximalist, really kind of taking that glam bar there on the left in that garner painted mist, and really kind of making it mix and match with this like luxurious kind of glam element. And then I always say I don't like to play favorites with our new room scenes, but the one on the right holds a special place for me this round. She is big, she is bold, she's got that beautiful wallpaper and the pink tile. I think a lot of accents are starting to come back. It almost kind of gives you that Art Deco kind of moment within the space, but in an eclectic way. I think that, you know, adding that wallpaper with that Remy kind of black cabinet anchoring it all really kind of makes this space pop and give it a lot of personality.
All right, Jerry. Well, now I don't know if I want the spa bathroom or if I want this pop of color. I love the pink and that beautiful wallpaper with the bold cabinet and the gold mirror. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't choose. Maybe I need both.
Yes, it's a tough choice.
It
It's
is a
impossible.
tough choice. Well, these are great, not only door styles and finishes and functional accessories and enhancements from American Woodmark, but we have another product line inside the showroom for designers to sell. Is there anything new with Hampton Bay Designer Series?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We do have some new products with Hampton Bay Designer Series, and you might see in those imagery right there, a little allusion to what's coming. These products launched July 8th along the same timeline as the American Woodmark brand. And we are launching a new Melbourne Cloud RTF and Melbourne Forest RTF. These finishes align on the American Woodmark side with our current Harbor and Sage finishes within the line. And we think that these are going to do great in that frameless line from a multi-tone kind of standpoint. Harbor and Sage are very strong performers for American Woodmark. This is Forest is actually the first accent color for Hampton Bay Designer Series. So I think that's very exciting for them. Again, available in that Melbourne door style and are aligned to that storm gray price bucket. Again, taking a look at the imagery, that two-tone, right? Now we can kind of execute that two-tone within our frameless line. Beautiful kitchen that you see there. It goes across the home as well. Frameless isn't just for the kitchens. You can create that beautiful mudroom space that you see there, bathrooms, offices. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit as well. But keeping in line with the way we look at finishes, this is kind of that finished palette for Hampton Bay Designer Series. Adding that cloud and forest, you can see kind of all of the pairings immediately that you can make. I also thought when I saw that beautiful two-tone space of cloud and forest, wouldn't it be great if we could add in a little bit of that edgely drift to give it kind of that wood natural tone that we're talking about. So I think lots of opportunity within that brand in the showroom as well. From a marketing materials standpoint, you guys have a lot of resources at your fingertips. Just want to make sure we're kind of walking through those a little bit. The consumer catalog, the spec guide, new portfolio catalog. While we haven't talked or focused on pro within this presentation, all of these great new products are also available in pro, and we have a lot of great new things for your pro customers as well. Hampton Bay Designer Series has a brand new catalog and a new specification guide as well. So let's dive in and see kind of what we did within those new resources that you have. We'll start with the American Woodmark catalog. First, obviously, you see that beautiful tritone space on the front, really kind of drawing those consumers in. And we've done some certain things just of note to call out within the catalog. really one of the things that we want to focus on is as customers are choosing their door style and finish, we want to make sure hardware is not being forgotten. Hardware is that jewelry that really ties the whole space together. We revamped our hardware line a few launches ago. We've got a wide variety of collections, wide variety of finishes. All of them you can range from making a big bold statement in the space or even picking an understated piece to kind of keep that clean line. One thing to note there, we do have an actual reference tool for that out on designer resources as well. So under that same supporting documents, if you look under the molding and hardware section, there is a great take-home sheet that you can use to sell with your customers that align all of our hardware within the pricing tier buckets that we have. And it's just a great way to kind of start having those hardware conversations, because the last thing a customer wants is to not have chosen that, then get there, it's time for install, and they have another decision to make. This actually takes some of that decision fatigue out of that back end part of the remodel. Another thing that we did is add these trending design styles in our catalog. You see there, we talk a lot about the modern charm. We talk about the return traditional and then maximalism, those bold spaces where more is more. Talking about the functionality to them, we talked about those eat-in dining spaces. You see this beautiful one created here within that Remy tritone space that we've talked about a couple of times, the perfect pantry, kind of talking about those hidden and concealed spaces, and then also getting them to think about those nooks in their home that could use some additional functionality. We also do all of this in a way that kind of drives them through that process and points them to Home Depot, to all of you designers, to go create those beautiful spaces for them in their next remodel. From a specification standpoint, we do have our spec guide. We have this beautiful launch brochure where we outline the Remy collection. These are in the 12 color pages in the upfront portion of your spec guide. Kind of outlines each of these individual projects that we've talked a lot about today. You see the maple almond here. There's one very similar for clove in there. It also gives you kind of the ins and outs on the new SKUs that we have available in our line and some of the benefits there. And then also lets you know exactly how to create that hidden pantry within the American Woodmark line, because I always think that it's so important to understand how to create those spaces. And again, anything that you see within our imagery, within the launch brochure, within the catalog, all of those spaces are out on our design details on designer resources. Moving on to Pro, again, this hasn't been the focus, but we're doing a lot of fun and exciting things there as well, kind of outlining all of our brands that we have to offer and the reason why we're a great fit for your pros. We've added the new finishes and stuff from both Hampton Bay Designer Series, which you see on the page here, and American Woodmark Pro. The other thing that we've added to this great portfolio brochure is our new brand that launched back in February, Simply Woodmark Pro, kind of outlining that as well, and then helping qualify the actual pro themselves into what brand is going to work best for each of their projects. And Hampton Bay Designer Series has really gotten a facelift with the addition of those two new finishes. A complete revamp of their catalog starts you from how to get started with the customer, walking them through that process. These collection pages have unique QR codes on each of them that give you more about that individual collection on each page. It also outlines their specialty cabinets and the construction, and then kind of walks that customer through, hey, frameless is great for every room of the home too. You can create laundry rooms, bathrooms. You see the offices, the extra little potting shed that we have down there. It really does go beyond that kitchen.
Oh my goodness, the information and the excitement from the designers in the Q&A. Jerry, you have wowed them. They are so excited. The stacking cabinets, all the things, the designs, they just can't wait to get their hands on it. So they have all these great resources. Do we have anything else that helps them in the space to really come up with creativity and see more about these kitchens that we have for them?
Well, we do actually. I'm glad you asked. We have we every 4 weeks there is a newsletter actually that goes out and is posted on My Apron. So if you guys aren't aware of those, make sure you're checking your My Apron for those newsletters. You can see the dates there. We have some SKU ones coming out for August, but we do these every 4 weeks. There's a lot of content out there. So I encourage you, if you missed any of these newsletters, to again log on to designer resources, because we keep those housed out there under a separate newsletter section in our menu. If you click on newsletters, you'll have a ton of content and a ton of inspiration for these great new launch projects, as well as others as well. So you can kind of keep up to date with our line. Make sure you're checking for those, because there is a lot of great content out there. Another great place to look is social. So if you want to follow us on social, we do a lot of inspiration kind of out there. We do things like polls. Sometimes it's fun to kind of give opinions and stuff like that. Take out your phones, and if you go to your camera app on your phone and actually click through to the link that pops up, this will take you to follow us out on our social page to kind of keep up with all of those new additions and all of that inspiration out there too. But with that, just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who joined us today. We love talking about these products. We love talking about trends, and really can't wait and are really looking forward to seeing all of the beautiful spaces that you create with these great new launch products.
Jerry, everyone, like I said before, is so excited. When am I getting new sample doors? When am I getting my color chips? When am I getting my spec books, my new catalogs? They are amped up, juiced up, and ready to sell. And oh, by the way, we even had a special shout out to Randy Clark from Donna, that she made him a hardware box, and she even sells our hardware with maybe a competitor's product as well. So kudos to you and the team for such a fantastic hardware offering, because it is absolutely fantastic. Also, some really great feedback from the group around, hey, here's some other recommendations we have. We love this new stuff. It's going to make a huge difference. And so we're excited, and we appreciate all of your feedback. Don't forget, your reps over the next couple of weeks will be in the stores, bringing all of your new doors for your selling centers or your pagers. They'll be bringing you new spec books, new catalogs, resetting everything, getting you ready to rock and roll for fall selling season. But not only that, we will have this webinar. So in case you missed something, it'll be out on designer resources, all of the wonderful designs. I know there were some questions about, hey, what did you guys do in that space? All the designs are out on designer resources, so you can find it there. If you're not sure what designer resources is, it's the one-stop shop for American Woodmark everything. Order status, catalog designs. So if you don't know what that is, check with your local sales rep, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. So we are so grateful for the time that you were spent with us today. We're honored that you would spend the time with us and sell American Woodmark product. So thank you for all you do, and we'll see you back in the stores. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.